Hey guys, how are you doing? My name is Carrie and I'm out of breath. 31 weeks pregnant. I'll be 32 weeks pregnant in a few days, so I'm like 31 and a half weeks. And a lot has happened since I've last updated you. If you're new here, I normally talk all things kids, and I kind of split my channel between talking about my pregnancy and personal life and my nanny kids and educating kids and all that has to do with that. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button down below and like this video. Let's get into it. I'll just start like around 30 weeks with some of the symptoms I've been having. Actually, around 30 weeks is when I felt her hiccup for the first time. This is really sweet. And yesterday I actually felt her hiccup twice. So pretty much every day between then and now, I've felt her hiccup at least once a day. She's been doing really good with her kick counts. I've been able to get in usually to at least one kick count a day, so that's been good. I was given a belly band, and honestly, it's the best. It really does like help relieve the pressure, especially because I have a short torso. So now that baby girl is 4 pounds and 2 ounces. I'll get to how we know that in a second. But now that she is that weight, I'm really feeling it. It's like when I go to get up, especially if I've been sitting for a little while, I feel it when I go to sit down. If I bend down, like it is, ooh, I feel it everywhere. All the pressure, all the pain. So I'm officially, you know, at that point. I really didn't think I'd be here until 35 weeks where I'd be like feeling it all, but I am thankful to be here feeling it all. My acid reflux has been so bad, but it's because ever since we went on our beach trip a few weeks back, we haven't been able to get back in our rhythm and a routine of meal planning because we've legitimately had just like thing after thing come up. This next week is pretty crazy too. Obviously on Monday it is a holiday, Labor Day. And then Tuesday, I actually have off of work because I'm going in to get a glucose test and my iron levels checked. And then Wednesday is our community group. Thursday, I'm going to my first Spur group, which is basically like a ladies' Bible study. And I think it's like once a month, maybe. It might be every week. I don't know. It's going to be like the first one I go to. They're just like kicking it off for this year. So I'll have that, and then Friday we're going to the Titans block party. So this week is going to be tough. I'm going to try to, like, our goal is to get stuff this weekend to meal prep during the time I have off. And then hopefully throughout the rest of the week, like, we're good. But literally I cannot even tell you, if you want to fix your acid reflux, like, get off of sugar and get off of carbs. That's what you need to do. Proteins, fruits, veggies. Stick to those and your acid reflux, I promise you, will not be near as bad. I got these. I'll have to insert a picture here because I didn't remember to grab it. I know I told y'all I take Mylanta, which I still do, but they have like these Tums chewy smoothie things. Guys, not only are they good, but they really help. So I recommend them. I'll put it here again. I'll link it down in the description below because I'm pretty sure you can find them on Amazon and get you some of those. That will help. So right here in this like strip, kind of right at the top of my belly, there's like a 1 to 2 inch strip all the way across that has been hurting the past few weeks. And I will say, ever since I got into my second trimester, I definitely have had like tingling there, almost like, okay, your skin is stretching or there's circulation issues, whatever. And I just thought, okay, whatever. Well, now that tingling is turned more into like a burning or pulling sensation or stinging sensation, and the doctor really doesn't know what it is, and I can't find anything in Google about it. Nobody else I've talked to. I'm part of a group chat that is literally all moms that are due around the same time as me, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. So it's kind of weird being like alone in this. But anyways, the doctor kind of thinks it might be a skin thing still and not like below the skin. It does feel different than like my upper right quadrant pain or my left upper quadrant pain. So I kind of am thinking that it's skin as well. She said like try rubbing lidocaine on it. We have like this roll on that's like an icy hot lidocaine, and you roll it on, and I don't know, I felt the effects of the icy hot, but I don't know that necessarily took away my pain, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like I just introduced a new sensation on top of it, but like that it wasn't actually like doing anything. So I don't know. At this point, because nobody has like, you know, been like, oh, it's something serious for me to look at, I'm just gonna have to deal with it and accept it as part of like just pregnancy pain, I guess. At our 30-week appointment, actually 2 days before our 30-week appointment, we received a phone call from our doula, and our doula said, I hate to be this person, and I hate doing this to y'all because y'all have already been through, you know, leaving one midwife, but I found out this week that, or she was actually at a birth. She was at a birth where with this midwife, and the midwife made several bad calls that put the mother and baby in danger. Mom and baby are okay. Yeah, we weren't given details out of privacy reasons, but basically like it was a bad deal. Bad enough where the midwife was like, or the doula is training to be a midwife under this other midwife that we had hired. Basically was like, yeah, I am not gonna be working under you anymore. I'm not gonna be training under you anymore. Well, shortly after, she found out that a mom that had given birth with this same midwife back in January was trying to get some paperwork for her pediatrician from the state, and had asked the midwife for it first. They do like the heel prick and send the blood results off for genetic screening, and this mom was told, yes, I got that taken care of, you're good to go, I already submitted everything to the state, yada yada. Well, whenever they tried to get this information from the midwife just basically like stopped responding and ghosted them. They're like, okay, well, we're just gonna get it through the state. So they go to the state, the parents do, and the state's like, we have no record of your baby. Yeah, so the unfortunate thing is in both of these cases with both midwives, we paid a $500 deposit. We just like literally lost $1,000 for no reason. God has a plan in it, but very unfortunate. So we are keeping the doula, at least this time around. And now we are working with a nurse midwife. This nurse midwife has a great reputation. This nurse midwife is actually the first person I saw whenever I was under the first midwife. She immediately made me feel comfortable. I was left the appointment very informed. That's the one who told me like, you're good on all your levels, you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of happy about that. Also, the doula has a really good relationship, long-standing relationship with this nurse midwife, and they've worked together and they have known each other for a long time. So that was also encouraging to me, that they both like vibe really well. So my birth will now be at a hospital. So here's the, I guess, dilemma. So with being at the hospital, I can still technically have a water labor, but only up until 8 centimeters, and then I have to get out of the tub, and the doula has to be the one to set it up and keep it regulated and tear it down and all that. The problem is, like, I'm gonna want to labor at home for as long as possible, and I know that with first baby, labor is probably gonna take like 24 hours, It's probably going to be a long deal. It's probably going to be something where I'll be progressing slowly, yada yada. Meaning I'm gonna be like trying not to get to the hospital until I'm 6 or 7 centimeters. You know, not that I'm gonna be getting a whole bunch of cervical checks, but just, you know, as far as active labor, like I don't want to be there until I'm in active labor. And so by the time we were to get the tub set up, it's possible like I would just have to get back out. So that's like a whole thing. We have an appointment this upcoming Monday, so just in a couple days, with our doula. So we're gonna chat some stuff out and see about it. It's definitely, I always envisioned, even before I ever got pregnant actually, I envisioned being here and laboring in the tub and bringing my baby into the world in this house, you know. And then I had to change my mindset a little bit when I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to a birthing house and kind of do the same thing. So at least there's that. At least, you know, it's still a house, still a home birth, yada yada. And now it's just like, okay, I have to be mentally prepared for a hospital birth. For me, I think the thing that I struggle with the most is knowing certain things that happen in hospitals that I don't agree with when it comes to birth. I'm concerned about my medical freedom when it comes to things that I do or don't want. The good thing about this hospital is it's in a small town and it is run by people who, for the most part, are of the same mindset that I am. So I'm really grateful for that. Their C-section rate is extremely low, like 3 out of 40. Their induction rate, also extremely low. Those numbers alone, like, that speaks to me and leaves me a little bit more comfortable having my baby in this hospital. When hospital births started becoming more of a thing, I know that that's really when pushing on your back also became a thing, because it was easier for doctors to catch the baby in that position. I have always believed that it would be right for me to just push the baby out however I felt was right, and however my body was telling me I should push the baby out versus being on my back. This new nurse midwife was like, if you push on your back, like, I can prevent, or to the best of my ability, prevent you from getting a tear, because I'll be able to tell you, okay, push now, push this way. I'll be able to help manipulate the baby out. We're not going to tear. So pushing on your back is how you can not, like, have the best chance of not tearing. She said, I've let women push out the baby standing up or squatting or on all fours, and every single one of them tore. I am going to do more research on that, but comment below if you push on your back. And I'm also going to go over on Instagram, which, if you haven't followed me over on there, it's the same name as on here, Caring with Carrie. And I'm going to put a poll over on there and just see how many women pushed on their back, and then if they did, how many of those women tore. Because I'm really curious. I honestly, like, I am like a researchaholic, so the fact that I heard this information, I was like, okay, this is new. I legit thought that if you pushed in any, I actually legit thought if you pushed on your back, that equals a tear every time. But this woman, you know, she's worked in this field for 30 years. She knows what she's talking about. So basically what I did is I went ahead and put together a birth preferences page. I understand that birth is not going to go the way I expect it to, and I shouldn't expect it to go any one way. Birth is very unpredictable, and I may not get every preference that I want. However, I did want her to look at that birth preference list and just let me know kind of how more the hospital ran things, how she ran things, and how it lined up with kind of what my mindset was. So that was actually really good that I brought that in and talked about it, because now I'm able to go back and edit it and kind of, you know, fix maybe how I want to do things. She said like I'm technically not allowed to record, but I told her how big my desire has been to just capture her first cry on a recording somehow, that I was okay with even like the camera like being under a jacket or pointing to the ceiling or something. And she was just like, just don't tell anybody that you turn it on, and just don't tell anybody. So hopefully I will be able to actually capture her first cry. I think it's like a privacy thing, so obviously like I said, like I more than likely will not be like pointing it at me or any of the nurses or anything. I should just be pointing to the ceiling. But for me, like that was important. And I can only have 2 people in the room. So originally I did have a birth photographer lined up, but now that I'm only allowed to have two people in the room with, you know, COVID, my husband and the doula are going to be the only 2 people. It is what it is. When I went in for my first appointment at the new nurse midwife this past Thursday, I was able to get a lot of questions answered, basically a lot of fears. Is the word allayed? Alleviated? I don't know. Basically, she was able to talk me through a lot of my fears about birthing in a hospital. One of the biggest things that I am going to need your help with is packing a hospital bag. There are literally a zillion YouTube videos out there about packing your hospital bag, and there's everything from like the person who brings 5 things to the person who brings like probably way too much. And for me, like, I just don't know what my hospital is going to provide. So for me, that's like where the gray area is at. Otherwise, I want to keep it extremely minimal. Anyways, if you have had a hospital birth, please comment down below what were like your top things in your hospital bag that you actually use, because some women don't touch their hospital bag like at all, hardly. And so if you actually use stuff in your hospital bag, I want to know what that was. Toiletries, everything. Tell me all the things, girl. Drop it down in the comments below. Let me know. So once I hit 31 weeks, I really started with the insomnia. I know all pregnant, like all throughout this entire pregnancy, I've had like moments where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty much like waking up once a night. There are times when I don't wake up at all throughout the whole night. And another thing, so I actually thought that like, and this may still happen, I don't know, I still have like 9 to 11 weeks to go, but I thought 2 things: that I would wake up to pee for that reason, like my body would literally wake me up because I had to pee. I think I've had that happen like once, maybe once. Other than that, like I'll be up for acid reflux and then I'd be like, oh, I'm up. And I go to sit up and I'm like, oh, now I have to kind of pee, you know. And then I'll get up and pee. But I really thought, like, so many women talk about how they get up to pee like 1,000 times a night. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. Hopefully that doesn't mean I'm like not drinking enough water. And the other thing is, like, some women talk about because their baby's like doing dancing at night that it keeps them up. That's never happened. I mean, she definitely dances at night, but it's never kept me up. So another thing is, when we went to the nurse midwife, we got an ultrasound. I have a posterior placenta, okay? So 13 and 20 weeks with the first midwife. Her ultrasound tech told us posterior. Then we went to the nurse midwife to figure out, you know, the right upper quadrant pain, that's when she dismissed all the things I was diagnosed with. She was like listening with the Doppler and was like, sounds like you have a lot of placenta sounds here. You must have a placenta that's in the front interior. I don't know. And then the second midwife that we hired out, she literally did like she's not an ultrasound tech, she's just a midwife, and she had a wand that hooked up to her iPad, and she was like, yep, this right here, this is your placenta. You have an interior placenta. And I was like, okay, this is what we thought all along, interior placenta. Okay, that makes sense. So then we go to this ultrasound. She's like, no, you have posterior. It's connected in the back. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. As long as Charlotte is fine, she is measuring out perfectly. Like, there were definitely like some parts of her that were measuring a week ahead, but averaged out, she's right on track. I was surprised to hear that she was 4 pounds 2 ounces, because normally they're not hitting that until like maybe a week or two from now. They're still at like at most 3.5 weeks at my like gestational age. I was surprised by that, but at the same time I also know that ultrasounds have a tendency to overestimate on weight. But at the same time I was like, you know, it kind of makes sense that she is weighing that much if she is, because I have been feeling it this week, all the pressure, all the pain, like I told you. So I was like, okay, you know, she's a big girl. Oh, leg cramps. This may be, you know, just completely connected to dehydration alone, but leg cramps have been like Charlie horses waking me up at night. Bad, bad, bad. And the thing with the Charlie horses for me is that they legit last for days, and I mean like the soreness of it, like, you know, it gets tight. My leg will like stay tight for days after I can't walk right, nothing. That's probably been like the biggest symptom, I guess. Oh, so this is the only picture we got. So, you know, I've never had an actual ultrasound strip because of just like how we've gone about things. So I was excited to finally get an ultrasound strip, but the only picture she gave us is where she was like, it's for sure a girl, because we told her, we're like, we probably need to double check that after all the things we've been through. But yeah, it's, you know, definitely a girl. This is the only picture we have, but it's okay. You know, I went into pregnancy thinking I don't want a whole lot of ultrasounds. I don't necessarily think, I really believe that the medical system does them far too often. They want to do another ultrasound at 35 weeks. That's supposed to be like one of the bigger ones. Like I think they're running other tests along with it or something. And that's where like they do a lot of their measurements. So in a few weeks I'll have that, and then I think there's like maybe one other ultrasound. I don't know. She's far enough along at this point that I'm less worried about it. Early ultrasounds I'm definitely still against. Like for baby number 2, like I would not do it earlier than 13 weeks. The last kind of symptom, I guess, that I've been having is I have been having just a couple bouts of like, I'm afraid to use this word because I don't want to use it lightly, and I also want to use it in a way that's appropriate. But I do believe that I have had a couple bouts of depression. Me and my husband have sat down and talked about it, and we have put together a game plan for that. You know, depression is simply a chemical imbalance in your brain, and there's things that you can do naturally to help it. So definitely getting outside time every single day, drinking enough water, eating right is a big deal. That's another big deal while we're trying to get back to meal planning and doing like actual meals versus just like processed food. But there's just like some times in the past couple weeks where I would be just not myself. I would just be sad for no reason, really gloomy, extra teary. And I know part of this is like kind of normal pregnancy stuff. I understand that. But it was definitely like out of character for me. So we also know that like postpartum depression is a big thing. My husband and I are both going to be on the lookout for it, making sure that I am good after baby as well. So last thing is I did want to talk about, we got everything as far as stuff goes for Charlotte has been bought. There are other things that I definitely still want to get, but that are not needs. Okay, so far the other things we have left is paying for maternity pictures, paying the doula, and paying for newborn pictures. That's all we have left, and then beyond that, like just trying to save up for medical bills. So our insurance is supposed to be really good for all that, but with all the switches, it's been just kind of crazy, and we've gotten like different bills. So we're trying to work with our insurance with that. But anyways, since we did get a couple things, I wanted to talk about, I know I had really hyped up Literati. Literati is a little sketch. I'm just gonna say it that way. I legit thought you pay 10 bucks a month for Literati and you get 5 books a month. Like, that's how that works, right? No. You pay 10 bucks to get the books shipped to you, and then you get a discount on those 5 books if you want to buy them, and you pick which ones you want to buy, and then you ship the rest back. Which, okay, fine if you're into that. Like, in order to see that on their website anywhere, like, you have to go to like where it's fine print. Like, it's really small, hard to see, hard to notice. And anytime like people talked about Literati, like in ads and stuff, that was not brought up. Like, I don't know, it was just weird. Again, I'm like the person who is researchaholic, so when I got the box in, I was so excited, pulling out all the books, and then I was like, what is this paper? And I was just so legitimately sad. It was extreme letdown for me, a very big disappointment. So we're gonna be doing Bookaroo, because Bookaroo will, for 20 bucks a month, I think 20 bucks plus $5 shipping, so 25 a month, you can get 3 books to keep. And $25, especially for board books, is a good price for 3 books. So it would be cheaper than us like going and buying books brand new. Now also, if we wanted more books than that, we're just gonna thrift, like go to bookstores and stuff like that, thrift bookstores. But I am excited about our Love Every box. So Love Every, if you don't know, they provide Montessori toys. I've talked about them quite a bit in my other videos. They are the only toys that we are buying for Charlotte, period. Charlotte does not need a bunch of stuff. She needs memories, experiences. She needs things that are actually going to grow her. I plan on anything that is bought for her being kept at the gifter's house. Here in this house, our goal is to literally only have toys from Love Every. And people may say, oh, once you have her, you're going to change your mind. You're going to see this, you're going to see that, you're going to want her to have that. I am not going to say I'm perfect, and I'm not going to say that won't happen, but my goal is to just keep to Love Every, only because these toys are quality, they are sustainable, and they are Montessori. What more could you ask for? What a child really needs is engagement with the parent more than anything else. A child needs that over stuff, over setting them down, letting them play with stuff. Yes, do that, but they don't constantly need to be playing with toys. They will do so much better with face-to-face engagement. Like, that is what like fires those neurons up in the brain. Okay, anyways, toys can do that too, just not at the same level. So I didn't know this squeaked. I just scared myself. I did not know this squeaked. This squeaks. Okay. I have heard don't hang things from your car seat, and I don't think our car seat, like you've seen it, we don't have the infant car seat, so I don't think it has anything to hang these on. But these would be like things that maybe we would hand to her to play with, but they do come with like hooks. We could hook them all together. So there's 3 of them. Also, so I'm just gonna put this out there, I really want the play gym. It's $140 at Love Every, and so hopefully we'll be able to get that, but these can hook on to that play gym as well. So this one's like crinkly. They used to have a different toy in place of these, so these are actually kind of like new in their newborn box. But this is the looker kit from 0 to 12 months, so 0 to 12 weeks maybe. Let me see. Yeah, 0 to 12 weeks, sorry. But this is first one. These are crinkly too. And then this one's like a rattle. They are high contrast. This is a squeaky one. And these are just like ribbon tabs. So those came in the box. This is the first time I figured that out. So these I thought were crinkly, but they're not. They're just soft. and they are high contrast gloves, mittens. So these are specifically for the fact that they're high contrast, not for, like, you know, like people are like, oh, they have really long nails, I don't want them to scratch their face, I'm gonna give them gloves, I'm gonna give them mittens. First of all, just cut their nails. But second of all, mittens are actually not good for their development, and they need to be able to put their fingers in their mouth as well. That is actually a part of development, a part of exploring their world. I will never put mittens outside of these, specifically designed for play and for exploration, on their hands. So this is a rattle with a removable ball. This is silicone, which is nice, and they have like teething stuff on the outside, which is great. So I like that this is removable, but that it sticks in there well enough to a baby cannot more than likely pop this out for quite some time. Then they have a wooden book with a bunch of high contrast pictures in there, which is really cool. It's a wooden book. I love it so much. It's great. And then there's this mobile. So you hang it like this. There's color on one side, black on the other, so that the black and white can be used when they're younger, and then when they're older you just flip it and have them looking on this side. So we'll figure out where to hang something like this, but really cool. And then last thing that they put in there was, this is a card holder that you can like set up for them to kind of look at. It's really colorful on the outside, and it has a place for the cards. And the cards all have like two different sides. So one side is simple contrast, and the other side is more complex that you would use whenever they're a little bit older. They do love the black and white contrast, so I'm looking forward to using this. A lot of these things are things that I can easily bring with me to work. So even after the first 6 weeks, I'll be able to bring a lot of these toys with me to work that will actually be beneficial for her development. So they also provide a booklet that like just gives you, basically, it has a suggested timeline for when to introduce things. So like, see, like the mittens aren't until last, like when they're closer to the 12-week mark. And then they have more information on the playthings themselves, baby and you, so like what you'd be able to do in the first 4 weeks, how baby is going to be reacting. Like this says, in the first 4 weeks, they're easily stimulated. They can only focus 8 to 12 inches away. They prefer high contrast images, yada yada. And then there's more activities in the back. This just talks about like exposing your baby to language, creating a peaceful space, bonding, and feel-good hormones. So there's a lot of good information, especially if you're a first-time mom. I would say like this is pretty valuable, this card booklet. And then this, because I wasn't expecting it, actually made me tear up a little bit. They put a gift in there for me, for the parent, and it's a mug, and it says, "The days are long, but the years are short." And I'm actually, like, I feel tears in the back of my eyes right now. I am so happy with this company, and I'm really excited to see Charlotte playing with these things. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. If you're been here this long, like, I know I've just been chatting it up today. It's been a lot to get through as far as updating you guys, so I wanted to make sure I covered everything, because who knows, with the way that our schedule is, like, I don't know when I'm gonna put the next video out. I know I haven't been the best about uploading, and I know that when it gets closer to baby time and after baby is born, that is going to be probably even worse. I will let you know right now, I do plan on trying to vlog a bunch once Charlotte is born, because I want to remember moments of her being itty bitty and tiny and having videos for her to look back on. You know, I always loved looking back and watching family videos, and I think that is so sweet. So I want that for her. I want that for us. So definitely when she's born, you will see plenty of Charlotte. I'm not going to be a mom that will shield her from the world. You will get to see my sweet little angel, and I'm very excited about that. Don't forget to comment down below what you would pack in your hospital bag, or what you actually use out of your hospital bag. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys next video.